Hello friends, welcome back to Vlogmas. We are getting down to the end, and this has gone by so fast. Today I want to do my little Christmas haul. I know I did a video earlier in the month where I was like, it's the last haul of 2022, and I was like, I might have a Christmas haul. Little did I know that my mom would get me a handful of books. I thought maybe I'd get one or two, and then I would just skip the haul and wait until the new year when I got more books, potentially. No. So I'm thankful for the books. It's just very funny when I tell her, like, I don't really need any more books this year, and she's like, okay, but she has my bookish wish list and she likes buying books based on pretty covers. So she did that. And then my friends got me a few things. I'm in a friend gift exchange. I have a couple friends that I exchange books and stuff with, so I just have a few things here, but this is really nice because I do have a project coming up, which you will get the very last day of the year. You will get this video on this project. And because of this project, it's nice to have basically all the books that I want. For the most part, there's a few that I don't have that are on that wish list, but basically every book that I want, for the most part, is now on my TBR. The first was a gift from my friend Kayla, formerly of Doodles Prime Deceptions by Valerie Valdez. This is the second book in the Chilling Effect series. This is the series I keep talking about. That's an adult sci-fi trilogy that kind of feels like Mass Effect if Shepard were less competent, has an alien romance in it, all these things. This is just a fun romp, and this is a series I do want to continue with in the new year. And like, check out these covers. There's always a cat. They're so great. I love the artist for these covers. Julie Dillon does the illustrations. They're fantastic. Then my friend Nicole, for the gift exchange for House Salt, our little like group chat, she got me for our Secret Santa, and she got me the final 2 volumes I need of Monstrous. So volume 6 and 7. 7 recently came out. I now get the whole series caught up with next year, hopefully. Is that one of my goals that you hear about in the new year? Yeah, probably. What's very funny is I don't know which one, but apparently my mom was looking at some of these book descriptions when she was buying me the books based on cover. She still checks the synopsis, and apparently one of these like scared her. And I was like, yeah, Mom, don't read the synopses for Monstrous. You'll get nervous. Then the rest were my lovely mother. As soon as I like held this box, I was like, these are all books. Which is, again, fine. I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I flat out did not even ask for books this year, and she's like, here you go. So the first is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Check out this cover, so pretty. I believe this is a romance. It's a standalone. I think it's a YA. The main character's like 19, so it's one of those like upper YAs. But it's about a girl who was orphaned at a young age. The family that she now is living with is kind of eccentric, and the mother gets like mysteriously poisoned in that family, so she has to recruit like a friend to help her track down this killer. But also she might need to like make a deal with death or work with death, so I think this is gonna end up being like Death in the Maiden love story. I think. I quite liked Adeline Grace's first series. It was like a sort of island magic. It wasn't perfect, but I finished it this year in 2022 and it was like fine. So I'm interested to see what she does with like a slightly older protagonist. I love poison. I don't know if I've talked to you guys much about like my poison magic stuff, and we have Belladonna. So this is definitely something that has some tropes that I could really enjoy. Speaking of tropes I could really enjoy, For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. This is one of those series that's kind of like the Jasmine Throne for me, where I'm like shocked I haven't read it yet because it's so up my alley. The second book's already out. I think the third one's coming out soon because I think people are already getting arcs of it. This very much gives sort of like Uprooted meets The Wolf and the Woodsman, like that sort of genre of fantasy that you guys know I love, like every Eastern European folklore inspired fantasy that's set sort of in a woods. I dig it. In this world, the first daughters are for the throne, the second daughters are for the wolf. So Red is, it's like sort of like a little Red Riding Hood like spin. I don't really think it's retelling or anything, but it kind of like sets up that foundation. But Red is one of the second daughters born in centuries, and so second daughters are sacrificed to the wolf in the hopes they'll give them back their gods. But there's a rumor that the wolf is not a wolf but a man, right? Things go from there. So this is just, I'm thinking she's gonna like fall in love with the wolf, right? And Eastern European folklore, forests, all the things I love. Whenever I talk about Eastern European folklore mythology, people are like, have you read For the Wolf yet? And I'm like, no, but now I can soon. Next we have Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'm very excited about this because this year I read Elder Race, which was his novella that was nominated for a Hugo, which I loved so much. And I'm just really intrigued by what he does with sort of like science fantasy, space opera, things like that. So this is one of his series that is pretty well liked, and this is where humans are leaving a dying Earth, typical. And they discover a new planet that is terraformed and like ready for human life, but then they run into another species. I believe this is his series that has sentient spiders, sentient spider aliens. I mean, not that spiders aren't sentient, but you know, like spideroids. Like, it's gonna be interesting. So I believe all 3 books are out as well, and I've heard some really good things about it. So I'm excited. I really, like I said, really enjoyed his writing, and I like the thought experiments that he sort of seems to do. So I want to get into him as an author in the coming years, but hopefully starting this year. Next, this is one that I recently added because I saw this on a lot of people's favorites of 2022 list, although I've also seen it on people's disappointing reads of 2022, but I've seen it liked more than not. And it is from a publisher that I tend to enjoy. And I just added this, and she must have bought the books like the next day because this one slipped in there. But that is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is the first book in a new adult sort of like epic fantasy. There's no like really synopsis on here. Again, I was mostly going off of what people were saying as far as how much they liked it, but people were saying they really enjoy like the character study, and this is a very political intrigue. So apparently our main character is like judge, jury, executioner, detective for the emperor, but it's dangerous times to be a justice or whatever. Like, I don't know. People have just been talking about this, not so much for all those plot points, but just like, this was so good, I love the writing, I love the political intrigue, whatever, and I dig that. So that's why I added this to my list. That's why I have it now. Next is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This is the first in a new YA series that she's doing that originally started on Twitter. I didn't participate in the Twitter thing that this was. This is basically like she was doing a choose your own adventure on Twitter, and it ended up turning into like a full book. And now she's writing the second book, so like that's currently happening on Twitter right now. And even though I didn't participate in that little like sort of thought experiment, this has themes that I really enjoy. So it takes place in Hemlock Falls, where like technology doesn't really work, and the forest, what eats people? Like something happens in the forest, and so people are trained as like hunters to go and like take care of stuff in the forest, and our main character teams up with this guy that seems to know a little bit too much about the forest, and like mystery ensues. This is more of a contemporary fantasy. It's pretty short, so I'm intrigued about this. The cover is like something I would hang on my wall. So pretty, and again, if a book says that the forest is doing creepy shit, I'm gonna read it. And lastly, we have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. This is the first book in a YA duology that is completely finished. This is one that got a lot of talk this year. I think a lot of people read it because the cover is so beautiful, but people either seem to love it or hate it. Another series that is very hit or miss for people. And this is based on Chinese mythology and is sort of a retelling of this like myth of the moon goddess. We have a main character whose mother was exiled for stealing or drinking this like immortality elixir. So she's been in hiding basically her entire life from the celestial kingdom and is having to sort of go on a quest and all of these things. But it sounds interesting to me. I know it's very polarizing. Some people are like, oh, it was so disappointing, and some people really love it. So I'm gonna try it out. It's a duology, so easy. And they're also gorgeous. I know a lot of people are like, no one talks about this book except for how pretty it is, but like it really is pretty. Like it's a really pretty cover. And this is one of the only 2022 debuts that I've been hearing a lot of stuff about. So I do want to give it a try. That is it for all the books that I got for Christmas. So that is going to be the last haul for quite a while. I mean, I haven't been doing a lot of hauls anyway, but like I said, I have a project. You can probably guess from like things I'm sprinkling and sort of what this will look like, but I will talk more about it and how this is gonna look for me the last day of the year on New Year's Eve. So comment below, let me know if you got any books for the holidays or if there's any of these books that you really think I should prioritize sooner rather than later. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.